This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
Welcome back to my channel. I'm your host, Ruby Quinn, and I discuss CSA issues among the Jehovah's Witnesses. Stay tuned for this breaking news. Here we go again, guys. Every single time that these videos are going to pop up in my algorithm, I'm going to talk about them because when I was a Jehovah's Witness, I never heard or even saw these articles. This is not going to be reported on jew.org. So if nobody's going to do it, I'm going to have to do it. Let's get right into it. Sky News is a network in the UK. And they released this video 2 years ago. And I'm shocked that I haven't seen this yet, but I'm glad my algorithm brought it to me. So this is what the bio says in Sky News. It says, Sky News has heard allegations that elders from the Jehovah's Witnesses failed to act over child sex abuse claims in the church. The allegations range from a failure to report cases to police to the demand for high thresholds of proof from the victim. This is exactly the same thing that we have been talking about on my channel for a while now. I'm going to link the video so that you can watch it for yourself.
There are 130,000 Jehovah's Witness members in England and Wales with a large central office campus in Essex and 8.6 million members worldwide. If elders receive a complaint about child abuse, they will contact the head office here in Chelmsford and they will consult their legal department as well as this handbook, Shepherd the Flock of God. Only elders can open it, and they are all men with no external child protection training. So what does the book tell them? Well, it reinforces much of what we've already heard.
Eyewitnesses, there must be 2 or 3 eyewitnesses, not just people repeating hearsay. No action can be taken if there's only one witness. What's missing is any urgent action to protect child welfare. You're not encouraged to go to outside agencies. You won't be criticised for going to the police, but you're not actively told to do so. And if there isn't a second witness, well, it seems that's where the matter ends.
Jehovah's Witnesses say the 2-witness rule only relates to whether or not the accused should potentially be expelled from the religion, rather than whether they should be reported to the police. However, the book suggests allegations are sealed and kept in a confidential file. One former Jehovah's Witness elder who left the religion because of the way it deals with child abuse believes the police should be demanding access to those records.
If it was, say, a gym franchise, or if it was, say, a public school, and they were keeping records on teachers or gym members or gym instructors about these individuals being predators and not passing these on to the police, these institutions would be all over our front pages, I like to think.
In 2016, Australian Royal Commission investigators did obtain files the Jehovah's Witnesses kept on allegations of child abuse there. They found of 1,006 alleged sexual abusers, none had been reported to the police. Jehovah's Witnesses say any records they keep are for the purposes of protecting children. Lacey Jones was abused from the age of 10 for over a decade by an elder in the congregation in the West Midlands. When confronted in 2019, Clifford Whiteley confessed to other elders to some of the abuse. But Lacey has waived her anonymity to explain what happened when she told them she was going to the police.
The first thing they said was, it's your absolute right to go to the police. However, what they don't tell you is that they will not cooperate.
She asked the elders why they wouldn't hand over evidence from the confession.
What was their reasoning for not helping with the investigation?
Because Clifford told them in confidence, but also that in order to be able to talk to the police, they would need to step down from their position as elders. So I waited for, at least one to say, therefore, I'll step down and whatever I'll say we've had the confession. Nothing, silence. They didn't look at me. They were looking at the floor. They were looking at the ceiling. And I just said, but he's a paedophile. And again, without looking at me, they just said, yeah, we know.
Around the 4-minute marker, the reporter actually got a hold of the Shepherding of the Flock book. And he goes right to the paragraph which describes the 2-witness rule and accurately says how it doesn't admonish them to go to the police. It doesn't give them any links of organizations to help these children or people or any other advice for themselves, because the elders are not trained therapists or law enforcement or nothing of the nature that you would need to help somebody with cases of CSA. By the 6-minute marker, this is where I recognized a woman who has been interviewed more than once now. And she appears in this news segment, and I am so happy that I recognized her name, her story, because she has done interviews with Andrew Gold, and she also did an interview on the channel called The Taboo Room with Aaron S. I'm also going to link those 2 interviews if you haven't already seen them. She goes into full depth of her story. But for the news segment, they ask her questions about her case and why they didn't go to the police and like the whole procedure on what happened with her. And she described that when she reported her abuse from her stepfather, who was an elder, and she reported it to other elders, how difficult it was to even get consequences for that man. Once again, we always talk about this. It is especially harder for those who are elders that are being accused and who are doing these crimes. They are already in the high position of authority to hide it, to cover it up. This is what caught me, because she said that amongst themselves, amongst this whole committee that's going on, they said that for somebody to actually bring the evidence to the police and talk to them and go through the whole case and seek justice for her, one of them would need to step down as an elder to be able to go to the police and talk to them. And when she was waiting for a reply, she states how everybody was just looking at the floor, looking at the ceiling, and nobody was saying anything. Nobody was doing anything. Nobody was willing to stand up and remove themselves as an elder to help this young girl. I think that is so sad and so disgusting that Watchtower is also going to bring a small consequence to just go to the police. Something as simple as that. You're going to lose your position as an elder. Like, I used to think that if I just show people these news articles, if I just show my family members how fake it is, how corrupt it is, that they would somehow wake up or somehow see the wrong in it. It shocks you that sometimes, even as serious as this, they will turn around and they will not even acknowledge that this is happening in the organization. And that's why I think it's so problematic that they even featured the broadcasting with Stephen Lett saying that just because somebody got arrested, that just because somebody got convicted, doesn't mean that they're guilty. Does anybody else see how problematic that is? How is a governing body member telling literally millions of Jehovah's Witnesses that just because you hear of a brother getting arrested or convicted and has a prison sentence for what he did, that just because all of the evidence proves to the point that he actually did what they say he did, that he's not guilty? And then he goes so far as to say, to make a comparison to Jesus, that exactly how the authorities in Jesus's time were accusing Jesus and they got him killed doesn't mean that Jesus was guilty. Oh my God. That literally has nothing to do with Jesus's story, with Jesus fulfilling prophecy, has nothing to do with guilty people who are proven, have confessed to hurting kids. That's what gets me like really super upset. Another thing that is a little bit upsetting as well is some of the comments that I received on the video that I did on Pennsylvania. Username CoolBreeze250 says, "The elders must follow Bible counsel when it comes to handling CSA allegations. In order to establish validity of a serious claim, there must be at least 2 witnesses or a confession." Deuteronomy 19:15. "This is a scriptural arrangement, not a mere organizational policy. CSA is a crime, but it's also a sin, and the elders deal with the sin part of CSA." Parents have a right to report CSA to the secular authorities and usually have first-hand knowledge of the abuse. Yes, but like I mentioned in the video, how they don't even take it upon themselves morally to go to the police. I mean, as Jehovah's Witnesses, we grew up with the mentality of even when we see somebody else sinning or committing a crime, that we should go and tell. We grow up with the conditioning that even if it's not even you who's doing the wrong thing, that we have to do the right thing and speak out. So why wouldn't the elders do the right thing in the same situation? I don't think like you should need a scripture to tell you to do that, but that's what gets me. And if they deal with the sin part, then who deals with the criminal part? So people like this don't even acknowledge that we do have a piece of the puzzle missing. Nobody's dealing with the crime issue. That's the exact problem that Jehovah's Witnesses are having. If this is happening, then I think you should institute a rule or a policy that will help this missing piece. When he says that parents have the right to report CSA, hey, did you not see the video? What happened to Martin and Jennifer when they reported the abuse of their daughter? The elders in that congregation, whoever in that congregation, gave a green light to send a mass email to everybody that was attending that assembly or convention, whatever it was, with their photo ID saying that these people are not one of us. They were labeled, they were ID'd like a wanted poster. And that was just one story that we know of, that's what happened to them. What about the other hundreds of people that have gone through the same thing, and we will never know what happened to them or the consequences that happened to them for going to the police? It's the prison of the mind from the indoctrination, from the brainwashing, whatever you want to call it, that keeps them from doing these things. And then throughout the years, children get hurt over and over again. But that's what's upsetting. That just because we speak out, we're labeled as apostates, we're labeled as bad people. It shouldn't be that way. Anyways, I'm just going to skip down where he says, Jehovah sees everything and he'll set matters straight. How many times have we heard this? Oh, just leave it in Jehovah's hands. Another comment that I would also like to highlight is from Joseph Miller. He says, it is the parents' job to protect their own children, not the elders or watchtower. All of these abuse cases are familial and happened in the family home, not at Kingdom Hall or Assembly Hall. Blame the abusers. They're 100% at fault, not Watchtower or Jehovah's Witnesses. They missed the point again. Obviously, it's the parents' job to protect their children. A lot of the times this abuse goes unnoticed even in their own homes. We cannot always blame parents. Maybe they didn't know. Once the information comes forward, and that's what we're talking about, the information comes forward, the parents should have gone to the police. Their religion, their beliefs are holding them back, whatever the case may be. It is also up to the elders, because the elders are supposed to be your spiritual fathers. They're supposed to be shepherds. And when they know of an abuse, a crime, a sin, whatever, if it's a crime, it should be treated as a crime, not like a sin. And that's what we're talking about. Just because it didn't happen at the Kingdom Hall doesn't mean that they are also not complicit when they have information and they don't go to the police. I mean, come on. Even the law is set up this way, okay? Even if you are the driver for the robbery that happened down the block and you didn't even go into the bank, you didn't steal no money, you are still an accomplice because you were the driver. You were helping them get away. There's thousands of elders who have gotten in trouble because they knew the information, they did what the Watchtower department told them to do, the service department, whoever, and they didn't follow even their own laws in their own state. And then you ask them, why didn't you follow the law in your own state? They don't know. They don't even know themselves until you get caught with a sentence because you were complicit in hiding child abuse. That's why it should always be a rule nationwide. It should be worldwide. It should be a rule that when it comes to things like this, go straight to the police.
But that's simply not possible.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
Yes, I would love to blame the abusers 100%. I would love that. But guess what? There's other people involved. And in these cases, unfortunately, the elders were involved. Therefore, we have to gather everyone In some cases, the parents are complicit as well. So I would also blame the parents. Some of the parents were the abusers themselves. In other cases, the abusers were actual elders. So what are we supposed to do? There are an elder and there is no automatic disfellowshipping. I don't understand. That's why you go to the police and the police does the investigation. So I am very sorry to certain people who still feel this way, but this is exactly why I continue to talk about it.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Every single time a video comes up in my algorithm, I'm going to talk about it because nobody else is going to believe me. No, I can't show this to a Jehovah's Witness and be like, you see. They're going to say, you're an apostate, fake news, you're lying, you're trying to persecute the religion. And it's like, no, I'm not. I'm just trying to save another child from growing up in this cult or whatever. I'm trying to save the next person who thinks about joining Jehovah's Witnesses, that they at least go on YouTube, and when they search in Jehovah's Witnesses, that one of our videos would pop up and they would see how destructive, how divisive, how chaotic and dysfunctional this whole thing is, and protect their family from even joining a cult like this. I'm sorry, but it's not a religion anymore. It's a cult. And with the new governing body updates, it solidified that fact for me. And I'm so glad that I'm out of it and none of my children have stepped foot in a Kingdom Hall. And they never will. So anyways, I'm glad that, these videos are getting passed around. It's getting a lot of views. I'm happy for that. Continue sharing, liking, subscribing, doing whatever it takes to get this message out there. And that's it. I guess I'll catch you in the next one.